Good morning, ladies and gents, and welcome back to school. I'm sorry I can't be there the very start of this semester, so we're kind of figuring things out a little bit for myself. But for right now, I'll just be uploading some videos every once in a while to show you what I expect of you and what you need to get done for the class. So starting off for this week, if we click on this week's work, go to Tuesday, so that's what today is. You have 4 different things we need to get done. The first thing is only going to be for VIP students. The VIP attendance form, that is for every VIP student to complete. You need to make sure that you complete that every single day to show that you are attending in class. You're more than likely going to have to do that for each individual class, so make sure that you're aware of that and that you're getting it done. It's the easiest way that we could think of for Schoology for us to be able to count attendance, because it's kind of a nightmare to have to go through each individual assignment to see, hey, did they do this one assignment? And then, oh, okay, so they did this one assignment, but they didn't do this other assignment. So should we count them here or not? It was kind of a tough decision for us, so we just did something simple by creating this form that you fill out every single day. I know it gets tedious, but it's something that you can get done pretty easily, and it helps us out a lot. After that, you have the bulk of what today is for. Mostly it's going to be for informational work. Our first little bit of information, if you click on the read all of this, which is the folder with all of your information that you need, we give this information out at the beginning of every semester. So even though you have already seen me, you've already heard all this, but I am required to give it to you one more time. So if we go through this folder, we press safety procedures, since that's the first thing that we have. Right here on the screen, it's going to pop up what you see as well, the Safety Crisis Management Plan for 2020 through 2021. We're going to scroll through this one pretty quickly. It's nothing new. Most of it you've all heard before. So if you'll notice on the back of the room, close to the door, there is an info ring with little bits of paper attached to it. That is all going to be updated in the next couple weeks whenever I get back with any new students that I have. I want to print out a whole new roll or roster and put it in that information. You can also see all this information printed off on those sheets. That's kind of easy access for me, so if I need to, I can just grab that, and that's all I need to make sure all my students are safe. I have all their names, I have all the basic info that we need to do and what we need to get done. First thing is going to be tornado. Go to your safe place. Now for us, as it says right here, move all students to the wall. Downstairs, that's us, we're gonna go into the inside classrooms. Upstairs, if you're upstairs for whatever reason, you go to the outside downstairs classrooms in the hallway. And assume safe position with heads covered. So we've all done the tornado drill before. We go out in the hallway and we would put our hands behind our necks and we would just cover. That's what most people are going to do if they're upstairs. They're going to come downstairs and take up all the hallways. For us, since we are already downstairs, we're going to go against the far wall, the closest inside wall that we can. Because being at the very end of the hallway, we have a wall. The one that you're more than likely looking at right now is the outside facing wall. We don't really want to get on that wall because that's the most likely to break or to do whatever. So we're going to get into the inside interior wall. Next one is going to be the fire. Of course, a fire, we want to exit the building. It's really easy for us. We should be the first ones out the whole building because we're at the very end of the hallway. All we have to do, staying in a group, that's an issue that sometimes we have, is just we're going to walk outside of the classroom and then go directly outside the hallway doors. One thing that we need to make sure we do, though, we need to go ahead and leave and actually continue walking away. Sometimes we end up getting bunched at the end of that sidewalk, and that stops people from leaving as easy behind us. So we need to make sure that we actually keep walking and continue moving away from the school so that other people can leave as well. We're not getting all bunched up at the end of the hall doors. Next, earthquake, stop, drop, and cover. Pretty simple. For this one, we actually want to stay inside, and what we are going to do is just get underneath our desks. We can move those desks to the interior wall if we want to, if we have enough time, but earthquakes usually happen pretty quickly. We don't have any earthquakes, but since Memphis is on a fault, we do need to make sure that we are aware of the procedures. So we're just going to stop, get underneath the desks, and try to protect ourselves as much as we can. So that's really it for an earthquake. There's nothing too difficult about it. In case there is a bomb threat, which would be horrible, and we are hoping that never happens. But what we're going to be doing is, sorry, let me get this. Oops. What we're going to be doing with the bomb threat is this: we are going to exit the building as fast as we can. Worst thing in a bomb threat to do is if we just stayed there and something, heaven forbid, ever did explode, then we want to make sure that we are as far from the debris as we are possible. So I'm just going to grab the info ring. We're going to run out the school. We're going to stay together, and I'm going to take roll. And we're going to be walking away from the school for a while, and I will wait for administration to tell me what to do after that. We're going to stay together and stay safe. Caution/standby is something more for the teachers to do, and I just need to explain what we're going to do with that one. If the police have called the school or notified the school that there is an issue that we need to be aware of, then we are going to just basically do what we can to keep you safe. It could be something as simple as, hey, we want y'all to go ahead and lock your doors and stay inside your classrooms and drop your pens if you need to. And we could just be staying in the classroom. It could be something like we had this past semester where we had to keep y'all after school for a little while. That sometimes could be an issue, and we want to do what we can to keep y'all safe. So just be aware of that you need to make sure if we're on caution/standby, that y'all need to be listening to us, and that we are going to be listening to whatever the administration can give us, and we will tell you as soon as we know anything. Lockdown, something we've never had to do before, but I am glad that we have a procedure for it. What we need to do is, if there is a lockdown, we are going to be dropping the pin behind the door. There's a little pinhole, and I'm going to be dropping a metal pin down into that, and we're going to be locking ourselves into the classroom. No one in, no one out, and we are going to be staying safe. We're gonna end up probably shoving the desks next to the door and the windows to make sure that they are blocked as much as we can, and then we are going to turn the lights off and probably hide. That's just what we're going to end up doing for a lockdown. We're going to stay as safe as possible. We're not going to get near the windows or the door, because that is where, if there was an active school shooter, that's where they would be looking into. So we're going to try to stay away from those as much as possible. What we're asking you here, and a big important detail that a lot of people skip over, is this line here. Do not send text, do not make posts, do not call people at all. The worst thing you can do is create basically a riot of misinformation. And that's what you have to be really careful of. For instance, personally, my wife and I were actually in school during the Delta State active shooter a few years ago. We were both in college, and there was an active shooter on campus who had killed a professor. And my wife was actually about 100 yards away from that building where it happened. And one of the worst things that happened was the information that students started passing around. They started trying to take pictures outside of their windows and make posts. And a lot of people were terrified because of what they did. So one of the worst things that you can do is start trying to make phone calls and posts. Don't try to spread misinformation, because you don't have any information at all at that point. So just be really careful. We're going to keep it all together. We're going to stay safe, and we're not going to be sending out any mass text or fear mongering out to anyone. All right. So lockdown procedure goes in tandem with the intruder on campus procedures and the active shooter procedures. Basically, those are all the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and go from 0 to 100 real quick. We're going to drop those pins, turn off the lights, and we're going to be hiding. If there is a crisis not in my classroom, those of you in my 4 o'clock class know something about this, since I had to go stop a fight, which I would consider a crisis in some ways, then I'm going to be leaving the classroom to go help out, something like that. But if there is a crisis that is not in my classroom or near us, we are going to be doing what we can to stay safe. I will drag any students I need to out from the hallway into the classroom. Then we're locking everything up and staying away from the windows and doors. Injuries at school. If you do have an injury at school, then you need to make sure you tell us. We do have a everyday nurse now on campus, so we make sure that we are contacting and talking to her whenever there is an injury. Sickness at school, again, we have that nurse now, which is awesome, and so she is going to be full-time helping us out. All right, a couple things. Safety first, just a couple basic bullet points for everything, for everyday life when it comes to dealing with school. One, we need to make sure that we are not being stupid, that we're being smart, because it's the very first thing here. Teachers and students should not climb on desks, chairs, or tables. That should be a no-brainer, but sometimes we have issues with it. Teachers and students should not run in the hallways or classrooms. We shouldn't be running around anyway. We have a school full of 2,000 people, so running is not going to be very helpful in many ways. The only time you should run if it's to a really short distance, if you need, let's say for us, if we're getting outside the building and we need people to be able to get behind us or continue exiting the building behind us, we might need to rush a little bit. Or for me, if I need to go stop a fight or something like that, I might need to run. So just be aware, there are a few small places, but you should be really careful that you don't do that very often. Students should not be left unattended. They should not. Usually I get a teacher to come watch y'all if I need to leave. Students should have a signed or end time note if in the hallway. I always give y'all those. I use post-it notes since they're easy to write. No student should be roaming aimlessly. Very true. Students who drive on campus should purchase a parking tag. Not many of y'all have parking tags right now, but a few of you do. So make sure that you have your parking ticket. Students who exit the building for a class or early release should have a laminated pass and or able to show their schedule at all times. So make sure that you have those ready if you need it. Those are the basic safety procedures. There's nothing too difficult or strange about those. You've seen them all before. If we get out of these safety procedures, here you go. Next section that you need to look at for today is the on-campus student Wi-Fi access. If you, for some reason, don't have Wi-Fi access yet, you need to make sure that you're looking at that handout. Next one, if you have not accessed your student email yet, please do that. It's going to be very important this semester, especially since I believe we're going to start trying to roll out our one-to-one student technology initiative. So make sure that you know how to get into your email. It's very important. You should already know how to email me, but if you don't, information there. Schoology, if you're brand new, as I do have a few brand new students, hello. You need to make sure that you're getting started with Schoology. Knowing that information, how to work Schoology is really important, especially at times like this where I can't be actually in class. Last but not least is the plagiarism handout. This is a really good PDF that we have here. Now this information is needed. It's just a PowerPoint. There are 15 different slides on this one. I will definitely want you to go through this one a little bit. It explains what plagiarism is, why it is a cardinal sin for many of us as teachers whenever a student commits plagiarism. In fact, I want you to go through that one by yourself, because after you finish reading through all of these, if you go back to Tuesday's work, you'll see the last two things I want you to do is a plagiarism quiz and a writing assignment. The plagiarism quiz is very quick and very easy. If I click on it right now, you'll see right here that my screen looks a little bit different from yours. There are a total of 5 different questions. They're not very difficult by any means. Most of them are short answer, one true and false, one multiple choice, a couple short answer essay, like did you actually look at the information type questions. Last one is going to be your writing assignment. This one actually I'm really excited for because it's actually kind of an interesting question, and it's a new type of grading that we're going to be doing for y'all. This one's going to be based off of word count, not paragraph count. Word count, you still need to write yours in paragraph form. That's just good writing. But we're actually going to be basing your score off of how many words did you write. This is how they do it in college, and something that we think we could go ahead and start implementing a little bit for our own classrooms. So if you click on this, when you start it out for you, it's going to look a little bit different, of course. But it says, 2020 was a difficult year for a multitude of reasons. In at least 350 words, write what you would like to see different in 2021. be specific and describe how these differences could impact you and or your family. And if you want to, tell me, how are you going to impact change in 2021? Now, we noticed in 2020 that a lot of people felt like inept, they couldn't do anything, and they felt like life was just happening to them. So what could we do actively, or what could you do actively to create change in 2021 for your own life or for the people around you? That's everything for today, ladies and gents. It's not a very difficult day by any means. It's a little bit of reading, a little bit of writing when it comes to our short answer questions, but it's nothing too difficult. And I believe you should be able to get done with it pretty quickly. But that's everything that I have for you today. Go ahead and get that work done. Make sure that you're looking at your word count for your writing assignment. For every word that you're missing, I'm thinking of taking a point away because I'm going to be pretty strict with that one. I want that 350 limit. If you want to go a little bit past that, that's okay. But 350 words is about a full page. So that's everything for me, ladies and gents. If you have questions, please feel free to email me through Schoology or email me just through email. And I'll be right here next to my computer all day, and I'll be listening for it. All right, ladies and gents, enjoy your day.